Hello, warm-hearted brothers and sisters. I've been talking to you a lot in my videos about why calendar change is a very important step for us to take on our journey, why we need to shift from an irregular and disharmonious calendar to a more organic and harmonious one integrated in the cycles of nature. So today I want us to talk about the actual benefits of the Dreamspell calendar, which is based on the ancient wisdom of the Mayans and their calendar system. So here are 10 benefits. 1. Shifting from linear time to the galactic time. The mathematical codes incorporated in the Dreamspell are a tool that, if used on a daily basis, it can help us shift from linear time to the galactic time. And this goes back to the codes of the Tolkien, the sacred calendar of the Mayans, or the galactic calendar, which follows the movement that our solar system makes inside of the galaxy, rotating around the center of the Milky Way, the Hunapku, in a cycle of 26,000 years. Our sun is a receptor emitter of Hunapku's energy. Through our sun, information is transmitted to and from our solar system. And this happens most intensely during peak solar activity. And I can completely confirm this from my own experience. During intense solar activities, I received a lot of downloads of information, or I had profound shifts in my consciousness. And through this calendar, we can attune to this galactic energy that is manifested in the form of the 260 days of the Tzolk'in, which are a fractal of the 26,000 year cycle. So by following the energy of each day, we can attune to this galactic rhythm. 2. Synchronicity becomes the norm. The matrix of the Dreamspell is a tool that can connect us with the vast web of synchronicity that is happening all around us. This calendar system is more than just a calendar. It's a synchronometer, a system which helps us measure synchronicity. It synchronizes us with the movement of the universe and the pulsations coming from Hunapku. It provides us the codes that we need to see the meaningful connections underlying the visible world. And by learning how to follow the energy of each day and by knowing the kins of the people around you, you will see how life itself is magically and perfectly synchronized with this calendar. And that, for example, on Yellow Seed Day, you might find that your yellow seed friend makes you an unexpected visit. Or that on a Red Earth Day, which has the blue hand as a challenge, you might experience some tensions or some conflicts with your blue hand friend. Or that on a White Dog Day, you might have this profound experience that brings you one step closer to manifesting unconditional self-love. And these are just a few examples. What I'd also like to add to this is to not try and use the calendar as a way to create synchronicity, but simply as a tool for observing it. When I first started working with the calendar, I had this idea that I had to plan my days according to the energy of the calendar, but it's not what it's about. It's about surrendering to the magic and seeing how it unfolds in perfect sync without you having to do anything about it. Personally, ever since I've started using the 13 moon calendar and the Tzolk'in and following it daily, not only do I see the vast web of synchronicity intertwined with them, but I've also started to experience synchronicity outside the codes of the calendar as well, on a very profound level. In nature, everything is perfectly synchronized because everything is attuned to the 1320 harmonic frequency. So when we integrate this calendar into our life, we connect with this vast web of synchronicity that is happening all around us. Because nothing happens randomly in this perfectly harmonious universe. And ever since I connected with this calendar, my life has been one synchronicity after another. 3. Escaping fear-based programs. All fear-based programs are embedded in the artificial 1260 frequency. All our collective fears, beliefs, patterns are generated by this distorted frequency. Our alienation from nature is also generated by this frequency. When we connect with this calendar system, all our fear-based programs will be challenged. All our limiting beliefs, all our programming, all the things that we believe to be true about ourselves and the world around us will be challenged. All the framework of our human mind is rearranged when we reconnect with the harmonic 1320 frequency. And for more information about this, you can watch the video called The Artificial Timeline of the 1260 frequency versus the harmonic 1320 galactic frequency. 4. Reconnecting with nature and its cycles. It's become really obvious to most people that human beings are destroying the planet through their pursuit of material goods and their disconnection from nature, embedded in this artificial 1260 matrix. Thus, because this calendar system integrates the lunar cycles, it not only reconnects us to the sacred feminine energy, which was so heavily suppressed by the patriarchal society for thousands of years, but it also helps us reconnect with the cycles of nature itself. And for more information about the sacred feminine energy and the number 13, you can watch the video 13, the moon and the sacred feminine energy. The artificial timeline has created a fractured reality where we are disconnected from our perception of the whole and we are blind to our connection with nature. We perceive nature as something external that has nothing to do with our internal world. But our external world is only a projection of our inner world. And the only reason that the planet is in the mess it's in right now is because that we have forgotten that we are part of nature and that we are constantly creating our reality through our perception of ourselves and the world. But as Jose Arqueles so beautifully says in the introduction from the book Manifesto of the Noosphere, I am one with the earth. The earth and myself are one mind. In nature, everything moves in cycles. And this harmonic calendar has the function of reuniting us with the whole, reuniting us with nature and our own inner nature. Its cyclical rhythm makes us reflect on nature itself and see it in a completely different way. It also teaches our brain how to see cycles within cycles within cycles and how to actually feel them inside of our being. 5. Becoming more creative. As human beings, ever since we're children, our creativity is pretty much forgotten by most of us. Instead, our school system, which is embedded in the 1260 matrix, teaches us how to follow the opinions of others without self-inquiry or reflection. Thus, instead of following our own creative process, we are simply repeating and recycling information that is being fed to us. This way, instead of allowing children to be artistic and to express themselves and their unique way of looking at the world, they are taught to copy the adults around them. Creativity is what allows us to be innovative and to restructure our mental framework. And by attuning to this calendar system and this new perception of time, we can free ourselves from any type of limitations and we can become more imaginative, more creative, more artistic. After all, time is art, and a calendar system which is harmonious will only predispose our mind towards more beauty and more harmony. 6. Expanding our awareness. Since this calendar system is coordinated with the synchronic galactic order, it can expand our awareness of the whole world around us. Life becomes so much more than what we perceive it to be, so much more than we have been taught to believe that it is. We become aware of our infinite wisdom and the power that the universe has and our own infinite power as part of this universe. We realize that we are one with everything around us, connected with this pulsation of the primordial heartbeat. Our awareness and our perception of the world can expand to a much more deeper understanding and meaning. And it makes us understand that a higher force, God, galactic ordering dynamic, is actually setting up the stage for us human beings who, as an extension of this cosmic consciousness, we can play this magical game called life. 7. Creating more order in our mind and our life. Since time represents the dimension of our mind, our way of perceiving time has a very big impact on the structure of our mind and the structure of our life. This calendar has the gift of bringing more harmony and more order to our messy minds. An irregular calendar makes our thought patterns irregular and messy and scattered. But a calendar system which is harmonious and integrated in the cycles of nature does basically the exact opposite. 8. Becoming more aware of patterns. Since this calendar works a lot in cycles and it's about learning how to follow the patterns, using such a calendar system can make us much more aware of the patterns of nature, the patterns of time, the patterns of our own life, the patterns of human evolution, psychological patterns. Life is an intricate web of patterns, and this calendar opens our awareness to be able to see them more clearly and to also understand their interconnectedness. 9. Reconnecting with our essence and planetary mission. By understanding our kin of birth, our galactic signature, and our Earth family, we can gain such deep insights regarding our own life, our actions, our fears, our wishes, our struggles, and our gifts. We can start remembering who we were before we started rejecting our own nature. And we can understand the unfolding of our life and all of the lessons that we have learned. We can understand where our shadow is coming from and what we can do to integrate it into our being. And we can begin to remember the reason why we signed up for coming on this planet in the first place. We can start remembering what our cosmic mission actually is. And for more information about this, you can watch the videos, the structure of our kin and how our kin influences us. 10. We synchronize as a human species. 1320 is the frequency of all life on this planet. Every living being is attuned to this harmonic matrix. And when we as human beings return to the lost cycles of time, we synchronize not only with one another, but we also synchronize with the planet. By becoming unified in time, human beings, through the noosphere, which represents the mental thinking layer of the planet, we can telepathically synchronize with one another and with our environment. Because time represents the universal factor of synchronization. And synchronicity is the manifestation of a telepathic thought moment. When we all collectively attune to the harmonic 1320 frequency of the planet, a whole new age will begin. And for more information about the noosphere, you can watch the video, The Noosphere. Before closing, I would just like to add that if you are new to this, don't be discouraged if at first it seems very complicated or you find yourself very overwhelmed with all of this new information. Be patient with yourself. Take your time. And take a break if you feel that it's too much information and it feels too overwhelming. But come back to it later. And if there are things that you really can't seem to understand or figure out, you can always write me a message and ask. And also, if you're interested in unraveling your galactic signature and understanding yourself more deeply, you can also write me a message on Facebook or on my email. Until the next time, I wish you a most refreshing day in Lak'Ech.